We will have the answers to those questions as far as who's starting tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN. So number one on 5 for Friday, which all-star race is most intriguing? And we're going to match up the ALDH, which has Shohei Ohtani, against Yordan Alvarez, or the National League third base race, which features Manny Machado and Nolan Arenado. Very close one between Nolan and Machado. I chose to pick the ALDH for a variety of reasons. So Shohei Ohtani needs to be an all-star. There's no doubt about that. Here's the issue. As far as this position is concerned, it's not even close in my mind. It's unique because Ohtani is a two-way player. He's one of the most unique players. He's a unicorn like we've never seen in baseball before besides Babe Ruth, but he's doing even more. But this is just for one position. And as of the latest update, we had Alvarez leading the pack against, let's see what the latest was, against Ohtani. It was it 50-50? I had this was the June 30th update. So Ohtani caught up a bit, but in my mind, this is the most intriguing because of the storylines attached to it. Ohtani has to be there, so maybe you get him in as a pitcher, and his pitching numbers have been better than ever. But as far as hitting goes, if you match them up, it's not close. Yordan Alvarez has been a significantly better hitter this year. OPS for him is above 1,000 on the season. He's slugging .665. I mean, Ohtani's a little bit below 500 with the slugging percentage. He's .833 OPS. He's insane, right? We saw him again the other night, knocking in a couple runs, pitching like a stud, stealing a base. I'd like to see him pitch and hit in the game. It's just that Yordan Alvarez has to be there. He is a top 5, if not top 3, AL MVP candidate. And yes, he's playing just as much outfield this year as he is DH, but in my mind, that's most intriguing. I think Machado and Arenado is intriguing. More of your just classic. Both are studs. Both are elite on defense. They are among the best in the National League in wins above replacement. They're both MVP candidates, but I will say, I think this is just more of your classic head-to-head battle. You know, Manny Machado has this brother-in-law who's really good at broadcasting on television. He also could swing the bat for quite a few years, and he's a buddy of mine. Yonder, Alonzo, are you with us?
Amen. I'm back.
Let's go, baby. Good to see you.
Likewise.
Can you just jump right in there? Because I know you're made of that. So this is actually, I know, right, the race that you're most interested in for a variety of reasons. There's fam involved. Manny's off to a MVP-ish first half of the year, and Nolan's always right up there among the best third basemen in baseball. So how do you size up that battle that's going on? And we'll find out tonight who's the starter.
Yeah, look, I think for me is the head-to-head battle of all battles, right? You know, you're looking at Nolan Arenado doing his thing every day, you know, protecting Paul Goldschmidt. But when you look at Manny Machado, right, this is a guy who's pretty much had no protection all year. He's been a one-man show. A lot has been said about that division in the West compared to the division in the Central. But what a treat, right, that we get to have two of the best third basemen in the National League doing their thing with Manny and Nolan. Both of them are pretty good golfers. Both of them have really good smiles, and both of them will most likely be in LA.
Yeah, I'm with you. So, right, they're both going to make it. It's just a matter of who's going to start. So I'm picking Manny this year. I think he's been carrying the pods, especially on offense. Arenado's had some help with Goldie, too. But also going back to my Ohtani versus Alvarez thing. So apparently on the last update, it was 52-48 in favor of Ohtani. So interested to see those results tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern time. Let's move to about a week from now, let's see, a week and change, a week and a day, the Futures game, next Saturday. And who's calling that game, Yonder? Do you have the press release in front of you?
You and I, baby.
Let's go, baby. We love Prospect Talk. We did this last year together. In fact, one of the members of the Futures game roster on the National League side last year, I didn't get to mention this yet, Michael Harris II, the Braves rookie sensation, is joining us in about 10 minutes from now. So Saturday, July 16th, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock local, Futures game. So let's just do this. We've seen the rosters. They just got released yesterday. Give me two guys you're pumped to see. I know there's many, but can you pick two?
Yeah, I got two, definitely. And I love Jack Leiter, and I love what he's done. I love his game. Obviously, we know he's from Vanderbilt. He was at that draft in 2021. He's the number 17 overall prospect for MLB Pipeline. And we know about his dad, Al Leiter. He pitched forever, it feels like, in the big leagues. But I really like him. I like what he is going to bring. He's a big power guy, righty. I just want to see him compete and do his thing and obviously put on a show. And the other guy I want to look up to is Miguel Vargas, right? This guy for the Dodgers, he's been on a tear, man, and all he's done is hit, and hit. The Cuban guy, 22 years old. We're going to see some now, 19-year-olds, 22-year-olds, some 25-year-olds. But this guy right here, we know the prodigy and who he is. I mean, we know his dad, Hassell Vargas. He was a stud in Cuba, doing his thing time after time for many, many years, won a lot of gold medals for them as well. But I think this kid, when you look at him, he's got to be in the big leagues by now. I mean, he's crushing in AAA. He's a guy that's playing third base, shortstop, outfield. The Dodgers, as we know, they have a lot of depth. But this kid right here, he's going to be a special one.
Yeah, he should be up and playing every day. I think if he's on, 27 other teams, he's starting right now in the bigs at 22 years old, and they're trying to get him reps at every position. So, if someone goes down for L.A., he's up,
the guy.
He's ready to go. I think we'll see him. I'm with you in the second half. Let me throw two names at you. I'm going to go two position players. Also just safer usually for me to project position players, more projectable. Jordan Walker, third baseman, looks like an NFL defensive end, 6'5", huge dude. I'm a big fan of the hit tool. It carries. It's easy for me to actually watch it in the minors and say this is going to play in the bigs and it's going to play for a long time. This guy has it. Number 7 overall prospect from MLB Pipeline. The power is also graded at 65 at the moment. I mean, he absolutely torches baseballs. His power, he has speed. Oh, and guess what? He plays third base along with everyone else that's amazing for the St. Louis Cardinals. And there's a guy named Arenado who we just covered who's filling that spot. That's why Nolan Gorman goes to second. I don't know where Walker's going to go, maybe a little first base or corner outfield, but absolute stud.
What a great problem to have.
The best problem, right? And these guys are athletes, so it's fine. He'll move to a different spot and he'll be okay. So that's one. The other one you probably know pretty well from watching many Padres games and just probably hearing the buzz about this 20-year-old. I'm going with two 20-year-olds. This was the 8th overall pick in 2020 from San Diego. Robert Hassell III. Top 25 prospect in the sport right now, is the first prep player taken in that draft class. Again, hit tool, super athlete, big dude. You can see the measurables that I'm looking for yonder, and they are one and the same basically. This guy also throws 90-something on the mound if you wanted him to.
I saw him during the COVID summer camp we had, and I was practicing with the guys, and I ended up seeing Robert Hassell, and I used to talk to AJ Perlin and say, trade anybody you want, but not Robert Hassell. This guy is going to be an absolute stud. I love everything he's doing. I love his work ethic. The first one there, you know how we talk about the great ones, they're there early in the morning and they're the last ones to leave. Hey, I'm telling you, this guy was doing that every single day, wanted to learn, wanted to ask the right questions and compete at a high level. I think this kid's going to be special.
Yeah, I like that. If you're running a team, it's the don't touch list no matter what. He's on it. I think this is a future perennial all-star. So, futures game a week from tomorrow. Can't wait. Let's cover some division leaders at the moment. We'll start with Yankees-Red Sox. Game number 2 at Fenway. We had the showcase game last night. It was great. Some early offense, and then both cooled off. But the Yankees held on 6-5. They had a grand slam from Donaldson yesterday. They'll play game 2 tonight at Fenway. Nestor Cortez is on the mound for the Yanks, matching up against Connor Seabold. Also, Aaron Judge back in the lineup for the Yankees tonight. Astros A's in Oakland, so a little bit lighter of an opponent for Houston at 54 up and 28 down. So here's where things get interesting, and this is number 3 on 5 for Friday. Yonder, can the Astros catch the Yankees for best record in baseball? Yanks at 60-23, Houston's 54-28, so it's a 5.5 game separation. We're only 50% of the way through the season, so I'm not going to provide the rest of my answer yet, but I'm just going to give you a big heck yes, they can catch them. What about you?
Absolutely, and I think everybody understands that, and everybody understands what the Astros have in the upcoming schedule, right? We look at their schedule, we look at their division. It's really not a wild division where we're looking at the American League division, and every day it feels like Game 7 of a World Series. So when you look at the Astros, by the way, you know what I love most about the Astros and what they do? They can go to New York and put on a fight. And when they play at home, they're a different breed of animal, of a team. So for me, I look at that division in the West, the American League West, and it's a very soft division. You know, you have Seattle, the Seattle Mariners are in there. That's about it. Other than that, you never know what's going to happen with the trade deadline and that division. A lot of guys might be out of there in that division. So I think Houston can be better. I think Houston can play even better than what they're playing. And I think the Yankees know that. And we heard it earlier on this year with Steinbrenner saying, hey, we know the Astros are that good. We're worried about the Astros because they know that come the playoffs, the Astros are going to give them a fight. And I know the Yankees are doing their thing. And, man, it just feels like they don't lose ever, right? They're leading the league in homers. They're doing the thing. They're pitching well. Nestor Cortez has been incredible for them. But when I look at the Houston Astros and Jordan Alvarez and Altuve, it is impressive as it gets. And you got that horse in Verlander. It's going to be a tough battle for the Yankees as well.
And if that does happen, if the Astros do catch them, it makes the playoff format very AL East gauntlet-ish, okay? Because this is how it's going to look. And remember, this is new this year. You'll have byes for the top two teams, which would be the Yankees and the Astros. But yonder, you'd have the Yankees taking on the Red Sox and the Rays if the postseason started today. So it's not technically the worst thing if they end up falling behind Houston and you're battling the Twins or the Blue Jays, although I think both of those teams are no joke. I mean, if you're the Yankees, you want to face the Twins out of all teams because they've beaten them a billion times in a row. So my point is, I do think Houston can catch them, but I don't think it's a bad thing for the Yankees.
It's not, but I do think, though, I much rather the Twins. I much rather play Toronto. I think there's some holes on those teams instead of, Boston, Tampa. Now it's a different breed, but it's going to come down, I think, personally, to these two teams, Houston Yankees, who's going to punch first and who's going to get knocked down and get back up. So it's going to be two great absolute races coming down to the wire.